Thank you for staying with us. The Central Bank of Nigeria has again raised the monetary policy rate, which measures interest rates by 50 basis points from 26.25% to 26.75% amid soaring inflation and skyrocketing food prices. Senior reporter Ademola Lawrence has details.
The CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso announced this after the Apex Bank's 296th Monetary Policy Committee (NPC) in Abuja. The NPC also retained a cash reserve ratio of deposit money banks at 45% and merchant bank at 14%, retained the liquidity ratio at 30%. Mr. Cardoso also said the committee was mindful of the effect of rising prices on households and businesses and expressed its resolve to take necessary measures to bring inflation under control.
The prevailing insecurity in food producing areas and high cost of transportation of farm produce are also contributing to this trend. Members were therefore not oblivious to the urgent benefit of addressing these challenges, as it will offer a sustainable solution to the persistent pressure on food prices. Also noted in his consideration,
said despite the June 2024 rise in inflation, prices are expected to stabilize soon as the monetary policy gains further traction, in addition to further measures by the fiscal authority to address food inflation.
The committee noted that the increase in the level of external reserves would further build confidence for a more stable exchange rate and thus urge the bank to explore available avenues to improve inflows, especially through diaspora remittances. Members noted the efforts of the federal government and private sector towards improving domestic refining capacity, as this is expected to reduce foreign exchange currently being expended on the importation of refined petroleum products.
The next NPC is September 23rd and 24th. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Abuja.
Joining us in the studio is the CEO of Finance with Mukhtar Mohammed. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Now, a majority of Nigerians have been asking questions. Manufacturer Association of Nigeria has been speaking. Nasima, that's the Chamber of Commerce, has also been speaking about this increase in interest rates, saying, practically asking, why are we on this path that is seemingly not giving us the results that we need? Because when you look at the inflation rate, it's skyrocketing, and we keep increasing this interest rate.
I think that question should go to this. I like the way you introduced it that measures, despite all measures, seems not to be working because we are not addressing our core fundamental issues. What the CBN is doing is textbook economy, and textbook economy does not work in Nigeria. I've said it on your program over and over. The CBN is not doing anything different from the previous CBN management team. The management team started hiking rate. This present management team keep doing the same thing the same way. In short, you can even credit the former management team trying to intervene directly. This one is not even intervening. It's just hiking the rate, hiking the rate, thinking it will address Nigerian inflationary problem. Nigerian inflationary problem is driven by production. Nigerian inflationary problem is driven by food security.
Isn't that easy to see?
I don't know. Maybe they have some figure that we don't have. Right. Because I've tried to look at it, and I just came to say, what is really happening? Because, look, food inflation, tomatoes alone is 40%. Tomatoes alone. What, is it rocket science for us to produce tomatoes? It's an all-round seasoned product. What has government done? When we look at the physical side, the intervention, the grain, have we seen them? They rise. It's true. What is killing Nigeria is food security. And what is driving food security? Insecurity in one of those largest producing farm settlements in Nigeria. What is driving food inflation? Transportation. High cost of transportation of these goods from point A. What is driving high cost of transportation? High cost of petroleum products. Now, from the north to move, petrol in the north average is selling for 900 naira per liter. So where I don't understand. Then we had a game changer, and I keep saying about the game changer. But now it seems that we're even fighting the game changer, which is what will bring down cost of petrol. We are talking about local refining of our petroleum product. Dangote refinery. We're shouting. Everybody say that's the game changer. Finally, here we are fighting the game changer. Not only that, the game changers, the people, the part of the man that we are fighting is part of the economic emergency committee that Mr. President set up for 6 months. And now he's busy trying to save his business. What time does he even have to sit? He will not even sit there. Look, what is the essence of saying, I have money and my people are suffering? I saw the CBN statement yesterday, priding themselves that the exchange rate in 18 days have been, the FX reserve in 18 days have been improved by $200 billion. And yet, our exchange rate is still 1,500.
1,580.
So what does that look like? How, you see, panicking. That's what the CBN seems to be doing. They panic. Remember I said in this program, the last time we saw like a little slowdown was when the exchange rate moved to 1.2. Yes. 1.2, 1.3. Yeah. And immediately they did that, before you know, they suspend the bureau de change, revoke their licenses. Oh, they don't. Then you saw the exchange rate, beam. Now it got to 1,600 again. They panic. They say, bureau de change, come. We'll give you money. So they don't have a clear strategy. They are not even thinking out of the box. How many Mr. President ministers is thinking out of the box? You can count them. You cannot see anyone thinking out of the box. Everybody is doing same team, same way. Same team, same way. Same team, same way. You are killing our businesses every day by hiking interest rate. Cost of business is going up by the day. Consumers are not buying. Businesses are shutting down. Foreigners that can have easy access to even cheap funds from their respective countries are exiting Nigeria. We are saying that you are attracting investment. Just yesterday, the Nigerian Stock Exchange came out with the data. Within the past 6 months, foreign portfolio investors that have exited Nigeria worth 311 billion. So what are we? It's like government magic, like Fela will say. You just see the magic, you see the magic on paper, but on reality...
So you are saying there is no advantage to this decision that we are making or this path that we are taking?
What advantage?
There is nothing.
Nigeria is a informal-driven economy. 80% of those that are employed in this country are from the informal sector.
Right.
Informal sector is driven by what? Cash. You are trying. You remember when we did the currency change? You remember what happened to the informal sector?
Yeah.
Now you keep on saying you are tightening. You are reducing circulation of liquidity in the system. When you do that, what happens? The informal sector keeps suffering.
Okay, so
they will keep suffering.
So we know that the economy is supposed to be driven by, every economy is driven by production. Now, with this situation, what can be done?
What is productivity? Productivity itself comes from policies. Policy drives productivity. When you don't have policy, how will you be productive? Now, where we are, as it is now, what is the most productive sector of our economy? You cannot point at one because almost all of them are dying by the day. Now, look at what we are going to do. The major cause of inflation is food.
Yeah.
We have addressed that. So it's not reducing liquidity in the system. So how do you address it? If you look at our farmers cannot give us enough. They don't have the capacity to produce enough for every Nigeria. Yeah. What is your short-term goal? What is your long-term goal? What is your short-term strategy? Is your short-term strategy to make food available while you grow your agricultural sector?
We talked about opening up the borders and also, importing food items at some point. People just came out and said, no, that wouldn't be ideal.
Since this administration came to power, it's over a year. what is it rocket science to have known that right from the day they came in, right from the day that Mr. President says subsidy gone, the challenge has been food and transportation. Everybody knows it. I heard you interviewing Kasim. He said giving the government another 1 year. 1 year, people, there's hunger in the land. Let's tell Mr. President the truth. There is hunger in the land. Serious hunger. The protest that we are trying to witness is not a protest of Nigerian Labour Congress or NSAS that were driven by youth.
Brutality. This
is the brutality. This is hunger.
Hunger, brutality.
When you say hunger, they say hunger does not answer to any name than to see food. The president said we are going to roll out grains, we are going to roll out trucks, we are going
He gave the governors grains.
Where? Which governor? You know our governors, if they have grain, they will come to TVC, they will buy pay adverts so that you can advertise how they were distributing the grain. How many governors have come to TVC?
Even Kasim that we interviewed confirmed that in his state that they got the grains.
Forget about Kasim and his state. You know he's an opposition, he will say that. I don't want to go into that. He's in the opposition side in his state. But okay, let's look at Lagos State. We have a proactive governor. Have you seen green?
I don't work.
So no. If you are here now,
yes,
you will know. You will have people that have. Okay, let me ask you a question. Have you seen anybody that comes to you that say, "Government just gave me half bag of rice," or?
But government will not put it out there if they did not give it to them.
But again, you are saying it's government magic. CMG buses, 300 today, 400 today. But have you seen anyone?
Are people accepting CNG initiatives?
People will accept it. But have you seen?
We've seen conversion centers.
Let me tell you.
We have seen
when you talk conversion centers.
We have seen regassing centers. We have seen CNG buses.
Look, let me tell you. If the regulator cannot even regulate and come out for us to say that the diesel that we have been using for almost 6 months by Dangote refinery has high content of sulfur.
Sulfur, yeah.
How confident are you to take your car that you cannot buy? You cannot even buy a new car. How confident are you to take it to them? How confident? Are you not going to be scared? The regulator that cannot regulate what is imported. Then the regulator that cannot even regulate what is within your country. It took fighting. Have you asked yourself, why are we where we are? Look, when we saw diesel from a height of about 2,000 crash to 1,2, nobody made noise.
Right.
Immediately, what will affect and drive down inflation is about to happen. That they said, okay, Dangote say, finally, we'll roll out petrol in July. Oh, we'll roll out in August. All hell was let loose. That's when we knew that it was producing inferior petroleum product. So, you see, he said, the same man that you are fighting said, he does not take rocket science to solve Nigerian problem. Nigerian economic problem is not rocket science. And I totally agree. We need food. We have land. Insecurity is not making us go to farm. All around irrigation is not bringing tomatoes to the local people. Because local production of rice is very expensive. Food that comes in from this country that we cannot produce, tariff is very high. Government, take a bite off your tariff. Government, come down to the people. Bring down cost of production. Bring down cost. Once cost of production comes down, what will happen? Nigeria inflation is driven by a lot of factors that are not globally, that are not in global textbooks of economics. Okay, so let me give you one.
Okay.
Cost of production inflation, 1. Cost of microeconomic policy inflation, 2. Demand and supply inflation, 3. And then the 4th one, have you ever heard it? Exchange rate driven inflation. It's only in Nigeria that we have exchange volatility driven inflation. Why? Because over 80% of what we consume, we import. If we don't even import what we consume, the machinery that will help us make it consumable, we import it. Remember, there was a time we were having challenges like this. And the then Minister for Finance and Economic, head of the Economic Management, current DG of World Trade Organization, said every machine that is coming to the manufacturing sector that will help in aiding production will come up 0 tariff. 0 tariff. Why are we not having people thinking that this is the cause? Our problem It's not hiking interest rate. Hiking interest rate is killing our business. When CBN can only borrow about almost 27%, how much do you think CBN will give to me and you? The banks are out there. I mean, the banks are going to give. The banks are out there to make money. Rather, even some of your policies also is making the bank begin to think, how can we make money? You want to collect what you have already collected 30% from the bank before. You want to collect on that 50% from them. How are they going to help you? So when they get that rate at 26%, you and I, that's his business, how much do you think they will give it to? 40% now. 35%. So we are seeing policies that are same of same, and we expect a different result. In short, it's even worse than same of same.
Right. Because
when you look at the banks, they are the key drivers of any economy. And what we are seeing now is policy to kill the bank. It came up with recapitalization, global economic textbook capitalization. You recapitalize with your shareholders from retained earnings. Okay, you say don't use it.
Is it yet Uhuru? Can we also still bounce back and have something better?
We can bounce back. They know what to do.
I'm asking you, what do we do?
I've told you what we do. Take a bite of our revenue.
But that will leave a lot of other sectors.
Oh, which sector? Who is the key driver? Manufacturing sectors are crying every day. When you take a bite off your revenue, that sector will come up. They are the largest employment of labor. They are a private-driven sector, informal sector, SMEs. What will happen? You get jobs for your people. Take a bite of your revenue. Let them come in with machines for zero tariff. Let's see zero tariff in some household item. If I'm saying it, if the CBN does that, if inflation will not come down.
But we're in a country where, despite the different initiatives by the federal government, the price of goods that have been up still remains up.
You know why?
It comes down.
You know why? Inflation, if exchange rate, that was exchange rate. The price of goods still remain high because the person that...
Some things are not based on exchange rates.
Well, let me tell you something. Most of the goods that are high, household item, you talk about food, you talk about cereal. Do we produce it here?
Gari, we produce gari here.
What of the machinery in producing gari? Do you fabricate it here? And if you fabricate it here, the car that takes it to the market, do you have any fabricating plant? When your car spare part is not, it has a problem, where do you go to? Do you have any fabricating plant here? Then the man is saying that I want to make sure that we have steel. And you are fighting and you say it's not more demolition steel. You look, it's
complex.
It's very complex. You say, so look, let me tell you why you see those things like that. The man that has imported those products into Nigeria, or was one of those products. At the time, he bought, you said Gary. The time the person produced Gary, what was the cost of transportation? I'm telling you now. The cost of transportation will keep going up by the day. So when he's bringing it to the market, he will add that cost. The person that imports, when the person brings in the product, he imported it at 1,900, well, maybe 1,600. And up till now, he has not seen people to buy it. He has not even stock up his job because a lot of Nigerian earning powers is still down. 70,000 minimum wage, we've not started collecting it. So even if you collect it, 70,000 minimum wage is almost the same thing as when Mr. President came to power. Because at that time, the exchange rate was 700. So that minimum wage was $34. Today, exchange rate is 1,500. That minimum wage is still 70,000. So what are we talking? Still $34. Your life has not moved forward. And rather, inflation has gone up by 40%.
Interesting. But when we look at this matter of capital inflow sustainability, stable exchange rate system that the government is looking at, because of that's the essence for why it made this increment.
What is capital inflow? I just told you something. Nigerian Stock Exchange just came up and said foreign investors in the past 6 months are leaving. So
how do we attract them out?
With the numbers you see that you are so excited is because of the in terms of violation. Because the exchange rate is 1,500, so they say capital importation has improved. Because of the exchange rate, they look at only in the exchange of the exchange rate. The man that the $1,000 that used to be 700,000 is now 1.5 million. So why would that not make it look like if capital importation has increased? You are trying to say you want to attract foreign...
Can't we borrow a lift from how other countries have addressed this matter?
No, we are borrowing a lift, but we are borrowing the wrong lift. We are doing the same thing UK is doing, and UK inflation is going down. We are doing the same thing US is doing. US inflation is going down. We are not looking at what South Africa is doing or what Kenya is doing.
What are they doing differently?
Kenya may have their challenge now with the president, but when he came, he did the same thing. He removed subsidy. Then he saw the people were crying, shouting. He said, you know what? Household item, imported food products, zero subsidy. Inflation went from 21% to about 15%. So it's not rocket science. We know where the problem is. You see, your reserve has improved, and yet the life of your people are not improving. The exchange rate is not improving. So you are just keeping the money there. What is the money generated? You are hiking it. You say banks, so that you discourage people to from going to get liquidity and change it to dollar. And I ask myself, who the only people that are looking for naira to dollar are the elite, and most of those elites, they are looking for naira to dollar to save, to keep their loot, their corrupt loot in their houses.
Really?
Yeah, we have seen it now. We have seen cases now. This loot in the bank. If they are in the bank, you see they were frozen. The only place that we see EFCC froze immediately and get judgments is when they go after Yahoo boys. Have you seen them got judgment in other cases? So look, we are playing. We are playing with fire. Hunger is fire. Hunger.
But government is beginning to say they are asking Nigerians to give them more time.
More time. You see, the problem is government is created for two things. I keep saying it, prosperity and security.
Right.
Where is the prosperity? There's no prosperity, there's no security. You are saying the people should give you more time. The people are saying, when you came to power, our life is better than as you are in power now. How will you be happy? Look, I don't know, because the template, you remember I said it on this program that the thing going for us when the three presidential aspirants, we said they're going to attack the economy because we've seen them economically, they are sound.
And every one of us agreed to the removal of few subsidy, or the three of them rather.
Let me tell you, subsidy was, you know, I've been an advocate of the removal of subsidy.
Yeah.
Subsidy will go. Subsidy has to go. And it has gone. Now, subsidy have gone. The 3 tiers of government their revenue has improved.
Yes.
What are they doing?
So that's where we should be looking at.
So everybody is looking at the federal government. I agree, federal government. Who is looking at the state governor? So when we live in the federal government, we look at state governors. Nobody is talking about local government.
Well, they just got their autonomy.
Autonomy, that's what Mr. President worked for them. Before the autonomy, what did they do? Okay, we are waiting. Now the local governors, they were
going cap in hand.
You say good now. The local government chairman will start going to Abuja to sit for allocation very soon. For the important federalism, you see it now. The councillor in charge of finance is flying to Abuja very soon. Then he comes out with his overhead costs. Look, Nigerian problem is not policy; it's implementation of policy.
So how does all of this affect our competitiveness in the global market?
Competitiveness, you can't compete now.
You
can't compete. Now, Nigerian products are even the cheapest in Africa because of our exchange rate. And their cost of production is high. So how can you marry that together? So you see, what you see is that you see a lot of turnover. You see our companies are doing well in terms of turnover. Then you look at their bottom line. Look, government is saying we want to tax the windfall from banks through the foreign exchange policies. What of those that suffered losses because of the windfall, because of the policy? So are you taxing them to improve that sector? Or are you just taxing them to improve your revenue so that you can distribute to the 3 tiers of government? We need to look at ourselves critically in the eyes and say, we have those people that can change the narrative. But we are just not yet ready.
Why are we not?
It will take something for us to be ready.
What would it take?
It will take a lot. It will take a lot. Now it's taking a lot because everybody is hungry. And the president is beginning to say, give me time. Perhaps we have to give it to the president. Remember during the NSAS time, it was threats. We'll do this. But they seem to be saying, you know what, give us time. Please, can we talk?
Perhaps all of these things that we are facing at this time, it had perhaps been foretold before.
Yes.
The president has said we will face tough times because we have a roadmap that we're implementing.
I agree with you.
If the president is asking for more time, don't you think we should just listen and follow?
Like I said something, the economy, you know, Paul Alaje used to say something that I like quoting. He said, when you commit spiritual sin, you go to God. Father, forgive me. I have erred. God is a merciful God. He will forgive you. When you commit economic sin, you will pay for it.
That's why we have the EFCC.
No, I'm not talking about EFCC arresting. I'm talking about economic sin based on policy.
Okay.
When you are supposed to save money, you did not save money. When you were supposed to buy a particular thing at a particular time, you did not say. When you were supposed to remove subsidy, you did not remove subsidy. When you were supposed to grow the economy, so you will pay for it. Unfortunately, this government is the one that is paying the highest price for it. Now, when the president says it's in its time, but what the people want to see is a short-time gap. You know, the long-term plan is always there to bring down inflation. The long-term plan is always there to create most jobs. But what are you doing in the short term so that the people will be alive to take that job? You see, we are not talking of, before now, Nigerian problem used to be our youth are unemployed, our youth are unemployed, our youth are unemployed. But presently, the Nigerian cry is, we are hungry, both the youth, everybody. So it's a different cry this time. Address the hunger in the land. Let there be food.
What would you say would be the best way for government to address this matter of hunger? You have talked about security, which is a long-term thing.
Look, the way you can address hunger, number one, look at those companies that can help us improve in terms of our capacity to provide for our people. Okay. Support them.
Okay.
That's why most of us are shouting, why are you fighting Dangote when it's going to help our economy grow?
But there are intrigues to that, but we don't.
No, that's an intrigue to that. We don't know. Look, the man that is hungry doesn't want to know the intrigue. We want to see food on his table. Absolutely. So whatever the intrigues, put the intrigues behind the scene, and then let us be food. Then you can fight yourself behind. Let's not see petroleum products. Let's not import products so that we have the CBN will now say they have more effects in their account, right, and then bring down exchange rate if inflation will not come down. Secondly, I keep saying it, take a bite off your revenue, right, in the importation of food product. Support local industries because cost of fund is high. Now, I saw the Jigawa State governor doing something. No matter how small it is, he says he's going to give all SMEs 150,000. You know what 150,000 will do to a tomatoes farmer at this time? Those are the type of measures we need to see. Physical side. See, there is no how in any economy in the world where the physical side and the monetary side always do the same thing. The monetary side will look at the data. The physical side will look at the people. What are the people suffering? I say, okay, you know what? This data is hiking rate. How can we help them so that they cannot suffer so much? But what we are seeing is we don't see that synergy. It seems to be that they are doing the same thing. Physical side does it. Physical side will hike rate. Monetary side will hike rate. Physical side will increase levy.
It's a whole lot, but you have also said a lot here, and I believe that those that need to hear,
hopefully, because all the people there are my bones. They know this thing. It's not rocket science. Sometimes I ask somebody, is it that when we go to government, we forget all those brilliant ideas we used to give when we were not in government?
They've heard what Mukhtar Mohammed is saying to the government. Thank you so much, CEO.